I'm really here just to say hello and welcome, and to say how wonderful it is to see you all here for the first in this year's series of webinars. I know that many of you will have participated at the Africa Network meeting, and some of you may have participated at the Women Writers Committee meeting, but I think that what we're hearing from the membership is that across the world, really, pen is needed more than ever. So I really am really delighted that you're here. I've been really grateful for your reporting. I know that many of you have participated in the digital communications projects and have fed back to us some recommendations about how these webinars should be run. So we've been looking at that and taking on board your recommendations. Sadly for this one, we're going to follow the same format that we have used in the past, but going forward, we will try and make them shorter. We will try and create content which you can look at beforehand, and then use these opportunities when we get together really for more discussions and more participation. So please bear with us. Thank you so much, as I say, for sending back your feedback. It's really important for us to learn how we're doing, and how, that it's important for us to know how we're responding to the needs that you have. Just to say very quickly that we will be opening the call for new projects, the new digital projects, probably from the end of April. But this year we won't be able to support as many projects as we did last year, so they're going to have to be really good. So now that you've had lots of experience of running digital projects, and you know how to complete your application forms and your budgets and your reporting forms, are expecting to have some really good projects. What I would like you to bear in mind when you're developing your work and when you're doing any digital meetings or events is to try and really think about the core thematic themes of PEN. So to try and promote, in this particularly the centenary year, the core thematic areas of PEN. And just to remind you, these are around raising and promoting the voice of women and other minorities, promoting linguistic rights, and countering hate speech. So that's hate speech online and offline. And if you need any support on these thematic areas, please do get in touch with us, and we can provide you with any support, any materials you may need. You'll know, of course, that we have the Charter, the Women's Manifesto, the Girona Manifesto. So we already have a lot of material that you can use. And I know that many of you have been using these already. So just to say, my thanks to my team who are here. I know they've put a lot of effort, Maria as always, and Anne pulling together this, and Salva pulling together this webinar series, but also to Olha, Portia and Pavlo, who are going to be doing the presentation for you today. I can't stay, I'm afraid, but I send you all my love. Stay in touch. I'm with you, and power to us, power to PEN.
Ciao, Romana. So thank you. And now, after this beautiful introduction, we are gonna go through the technical bits, just for those who might not be so familiar with the technology, even though I think at this stage most of you actually are. And could you please, yes, it's coming now. Yes, the second slide. Thanks so much, Olga. Like, this is fine. So as you can see in the slide, the basics for using Zoom are listed here. Basically, I already changed your account number to include your name and the name of your center. There is only someone, I'm not completely sure right now what center is from. It's Abdullah, and that's why I haven't included the name of his center in the together with his name. If you can tell me, Abdullah, I will include it later anyway. Then the next thing is remember to mute your microphone when you are not speaking, so that the person who is speaking actually don't hear background noises and it's easier for them. Please keep your camera on if possible, so that we can see as well each other a little bit during the presentation. Raise your hand or write in the chat box if you have a question or a point to share. And if you have any experience, any technical issues during the webinar, just write me privately. And just to let you know that the webinar is being recorded, so that then it can be shared with all the colleagues in centers. And yes, here is just to show you an example of how the screen would probably look like for you in Zoom. Like the buttons at the bottom of the screen are the participant button, and if you click on it, you'll get all the this box to the right hand side, where you can see all the participants listed, and so you can see actually what other colleagues in centers are actually present. You can also use the chat box, and for that bottom is also at the bottom close to the participant one, and then is where you can actually add any comment, any question. And where you can actually also search for my name in order to send me a private message if you experience any issue. And then this new slide is just for the phone, the way Zoom would look like in a phone. And then you have again the buttons start video and to start and stop the video. The participants button again, that is similar to the other one. And for the chat, the chat button is kind of hidden, and you need to click on these dots at the bottom of the screen, and then you can actually see there the chat. Anything that you want to raise, I said, you can put it on the chat, any question, anything. But if you at some point you also want to talk, when it's the moment for us to talk, you can also raise your hand, use that button. And that's it, I think. And thank you very much. Now Olga will, I'll give the ground to Olga to present with the workshop.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maria. I'm really happy to welcome you here today and to see all the faces I really missed from Manila old times. And today we're going to represent, of course, in a shell, because it's just a small capsule of knowledge, how to run successful digital events, because we just found ourselves in this situation, and especially in the context of our centenary coming, in context of everything what's going on all around the world. So when we are talking about online events, here always a team behind, right? Sometimes it seems like this is only one person running on the screens and everything. This is why it was so important for us to give different parts of the webinar to different person who is mostly responsible for those portions. And I want you to meet all of us, person who help you with the technical support, person who help with the communication, obviously Sabrina, who is running all our branding and comms strategies. So please keep your questions and also your ideas, because you will have a chance where to apply them to. First of all, why we are going online? I want we all to agree on the first thing, that we need to accept it. We're not going online because it's perfect. Online format has its own pros and cons, but basically it appeared as an answer to the pandemic challenge. And we can't replace all the impressions from our live events, but still this is a really great way to move on and still to do our work, sometimes even better ways when we could. It doesn't mean that we will not meet in the future. We all can't wait for that. But there's still a number of benefits what online format brought us. First of all, digital is safe. You remember when we joined first news, we shared how is it going with the COVID in each country. Everywhere the numbers rising, some countries are having better results, but normally we are not safe traveling now. digital keeps us safe. We are mitigating risks, huge amount of uncertainty about traveling and gathering next year's. That was a very painful, but still very wise decision for our board to move our Centenary Congress in digital way. Because even if we would have a possibility and chance to meet in the UK, it would be absolutely not possible to gather all of us as a network, as a big PAN family. So online format allows us more inclusiveness and greater participation. And not only for membership, I should say, but all interested. We tested it during our last year digital Congress, because in average, we are having 70 to 80 centers participation. Last year, we had 92, what is just great number, and we could hear voices, very limited this time, but still we had the participation from centers who couldn't afford traveling so far. And also we are coming to a more visible stage to the wider public, sharing our panels, sharing our events, what a number of our centers already doing very successfully, just grows our visibility and empower our voice as a freedom of expression organization. This succeed with the public engagement. Like, for example, when we are presenting our empty chairs in the usual Congress, we have a great, motivated audience, but then that's it. During our digital events, when we are having a presentation of empty chair, usually we are sharing those posters and information and asking centers all around the world to advocate, to share, to tell other people, to do that through social media within your center, and just write an article, whatever you can do. Also, I should say that digital is environmentally friendly. We are really saving carbon footprint, and we are spending less paper. We are here, Greta would be happy. Yeah, we are not taking slides. I hate this fact, but it's still very, very nice input. And also it's reasonable spending. We are saving our budgets and having less financial pressure on organizing events. If earlier centers had a real challenge to choose who going to represent the center on a committee meeting or a congress, now last year we literally had the whole new elected PAN Greece present. We had 32 persons who were visiting all the congress events. So now it's also became more open even for membership. And this is definitely a huge benefit. Also, nowadays, it's growing new center digital knowledge. This is what we will try to achieve today, technical and digital capacity. Because in a digital world, sometimes it's not about the technical equipment you have. It's not about number of people. It's about of knowledge, organization, and a goodwill. And this is all what we definitely have as a PAN members. And this is definitely developing your expertise for the future, because world is switching to go a bit more online format. And this is why we need to be more familiar and feel more native with all those things. Now I would like to ask you to present yourself. Maria, if you can just run through the list. You can nominate another participant to just name your center, your name, and tell us if you have any experience on running a digital event or not. But just simple question, yes or no, please. Yes. We can start from Aziz as A. Aziz, you can nominate the next participant to tell.
So, okay, let me see. I nominate Lamia Milisk from PAN Bosnia.
Great, but first tell your name, your center name, yes, and if you have any experience on running digital events.
Yes, my name's Aziz Isa Elkün from Uyghur PAN Center. Yes, I was very actively engaged in a digital work, especially webinar, everything. Even I used a different platform because Yes, I understand that everybody using the Zoom, but we have Uyghurs, we have huge problem with China. And we had very bad experience about interfering Zoom's connection with China. So yeah, this is open. So we avoided the using the Zoom because Uyghur issue is very, very sensitive at the moment. So I used I mean, like probably it took me 1 week, whole 1 week to understand and acquire the technology WebEx, and now I am master of WebEx. Very confident.
Okay, we have it
Yeah.
noticed it, but I just gonna ask you to keep your answers short. We have a lot of content to share,
Okay.
and we need just yes
Okay.
or no. Thank you so much. But don't forget to share your experience on a chat box. Lamia, please.
Thank you. So I'm Lamia Milch. I'm the Secretary General of PEN Bosnia. So our experience with online events is like small. We had this event last year, but it was mostly local between our members, and it was our Women Writers Committee. They held a series of talks. So, but that's it.
Okay, thank you. Who's gonna be next?
So Yorn Young from PEN Cambodia.
Thank you. Jorn? Unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Lamija from Bosnia for nominating me. So, I'm Yon Yang from PEN Cambodia. I'm the president of the PEN Cambodia. And during the COVID-19 outreach, we are very hard to work. Sometimes quiet, sometimes COVID come up. So it's just like up and down the COVID-19. So it's very hard for us to work. Sometimes we have appointment with the writer to produce the work program, and then they say the government said everybody have to stay alone, stay away. So it's just like kidding, just like that feel very dangerous. So the number of
Thank you so much. Can you please nominate the next one?
Okay, we like I would like to nominate Katrina from Africa.
Yeah,
Katrina.
thank you. I know that was my great mistake to let writers speak, because yes or no, it's like a small essay.
I'll do my best. Hi, I'm Katrina from PEN Afrikaans here in South Africa. Yes, we do have experience with digital projects. We were lucky enough to do some digital communications projects as part of the civil society program last year. And I will hand over to Samuel of PEN Zimbabwe.
Thanks. You muted, Samuel.
Okay. My name is Samuel. I'm from PEN Zimbabwe. Here we have very little experience in hosting digital. And, I think we still have to learn a lot. We can also everybody can participate.
Okay.
That's our problem.
Thank you. Who is the next?
Wherezy.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes, Alicia, we can hear you, but I'm muting you. Okay, so you nominated Samuel?
Wherezy.
Wherezy. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Please.
Hello. Hello, my name is Wezi from Malawi PEN. We do not have that experience in digital projects and also we're here to learn.
Thank you. That's great. Who's gonna be next? Just read any name.
Okay, I'm just trying to see who's online. I cannot see anyone.
Okay, I'll nominate. We have a few. Alicia, please. You couldn't wait to speak. No. Okay, probably he speak his phone. Okay, Lara, can we ask you, please?
Hi, I'm Lara Baxbone from Penn, South Africa, and we have some small experience, but lots still to learn. And I nominate Folu from Penn, Nigeria.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Folu from President of Penn, Nigeria. And whether I have any experience with digital projects, answer is yes, simply yes. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And you nominated?
Musa Sharif.
Great. I knew that. Musa, please. Musa, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Musa Sharif. I'm president of Penn, Gambia. Unfortunately, I have no experience. We have no experience in this project, and I'm here to learn. So that is my position. Good afternoon.
Okay, great. And next one gonna be? Let's call for Abdullah. Thank you. Abdullah, please.
Yeah, Abdullah Silla, Penn, Guinea-Bissau. I have very little experience in digital projects, so I'm here to learn. Thank you.
Great. And you nominating?
I'm nominating Aliu.
Are you?
Aliu from Sierra Leone.
Yes, yes, yes. Please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abdullah. I'm Ali Kamara Secretary for Penn, Sierra Leone. Well, online project is good and bad. Good, it helps us showcase our activities. People are knowing about us. It's bad because access to it from other people, from other regions, from other parts of the cities is very bad. So we are here to learn, and we hope we can, all the information we want. Thank you. And I nominate
Alicia wants to speak.
Okay.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Hi guys, how are you? I'm Elisha, Zimbabwean president. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, we've had an online civil society project, though we had a lot to learn, but I'm sure we are heading somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next gonna be maybe Ramin.
I think that's.
Hello everyone. I'm Ramin from Afghanistan, Penn, and it's good to hear you. And we had so many experience. Last year we had online poetry reading, but I'm here to know you and update myself.
Great,
thank you
so much.
And I'm nominating, I don't know, I'm nominating Muhammad Mohyuddin from Bangladesh.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Ramin. I am Muhammad Mohyuddin, Secretary General, PIN Bangladesh, and we had an amazing experience on digital project, online communication project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you nominating somebody?
I would like to nominate Sabrina Tusi.
And Sabrina probably will close our nomination here, as I guess we have covered everybody from the centers, right? Sabrina?
Hi, so my name is Sabrina Tucci. Nice to meet you. I'm the Communication and a campaigns manager, and I have some experience of online webinars and events. So I think the nomination is closed, right?
Yeah, nomination is closed. Thank you so much. All the other people who were not nominated are mostly speaking on this webinar, so we'll definitely have a chance to meet them. Okay, so I'm coming back to my presentation, and we are keeping our work. Can you see that?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So here is a first slide in terms of project management. I guess that everybody present here know it somehow, even if you never learned nothing about project management. Organizing anything, even if it's your kid's birthday party, requires having all those elements. It's just like more sophisticated way and a checklist how to know if you're going to run more or a bit less successful event. So first of all, what we really need, this is vice planning. Vice planning is understanding all your assets, your projected achievements, and all the challenges you have. We're going to talk about it in details a bit later. To have a proper team, we were talking about that online can create the illusion that online event just like 1 or 2 persons, because who's going? You can see any person running around with the papers, right? There are no catering, no venues, no buddy to fix microphone, everything like that. But that's an illusion, because even for a simple thing, mute and unmute, admit participants, share links, monitor the chats, check if streaming or recording works well. All those things are run by somebody. So team is essential, and understanding what team is doing. Reasonable budget. Sometimes it can look like, what is a budget for a digital event, right? What do you need? Okay, just platform. But even platform and team is already a budget. You need to pay for, I don't know, professional Zoom or other platforms. If you need to have a translation, simultaneous translation or whatever, that's quite expensive. And especially simultaneous translation, a lot of requires additional platforms also to be paid. Preparing all the materials to be shared, your time and your members, this all is budget. And then enough time. That can be another big mistake with online events, because what does it mean to organize a digital event, right? You're setting up the link for registration or just sharing. Jump anytime. And you think, that's it. But you need to face a number of things that digital still needs a lot of manual actions. Even registration, if you know, for a lot of platforms, you need a lot of manual work. Copy pasting, creating the lists, sending reminders, sending links the way people can easily find them, and all the other stuff. Just in average, to prepare any not huge but okay event, it requires 6 to 8 weeks minimum, right? What is your 5 C's rule for a successful event when you can check if you are doing well? First, you need to have a concept. What are you doing and why? What is your idea of that? You need to assign the coordination. Who is doing what? Because sometimes people are just creating really nice action plan and then bye, that's okay. Meet you in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we have a plan, but we have nothing done. So coordination process, especially online, became more and more important. Control. How you can, check if everything is under control. If everybody working, everything is prepared and everything, right? We can use a lot of applications like Asana and others, but also you need to find the way what is comfortable for your team to keep it all under, monitored and on track. Culmination. Sometimes you can be so excited about your event that your culmination became earlier than your event. And coming to the event, you're already so tired, and you already experienced the best things, like you were talking to your amazing speakers, you created the idea of that, and your culmination just pass earlier than your event starts. You need to create this participant journey. This is very challenging with the online format, because here we need to understand that why people are coming to the events. Not only because event content, right? Because they want to meet each other, like we had a chat before, right? Because sometimes they want to have this nice experience of catering, drinks, talks afterwards. We have nothing of that online. So this is why we need to create this participant journey from the perspective of culmination to be really linked with the content we are sharing. And close out. Close out is that stage which is a lot of times just, ignored. Why? Because we are tired, we have no time, a lot of pressure. We are running to do another event. We keep forgetting to say thank you and send, proper links to our participants. We can just miss important communication stage with our panelists. We are not analyzing what we have done, achieved or not. And this is a thing which you have to put in your planning. It's a huge mistake when your planning stops with a running event, right? You need to assign the time to review, rethink, and analyze. That's a lot of priorities, right? So here, the main tip is you need to have clear priorities, better have two. That's a secret how to achieve at least one and be satisfied. You can't achieve everything. Yeah, but you have to understand what you are going to achieve. This is probably the most important slide in terms of digital, or not only digital, event management. Start with a big idea, develop your concept. You need to understand and believe what you are doing and what you're doing for, and who is your target audience. Target audience is so important question that we will talk about it with a separate slide. So first, you should prepare your project brief. I want that we all to agree that this schedule is very simple project brief, but this is the thing how you should start planning and preparing any event, especially digital, as we are talking about it now. First, start from purpose, your objectives. Why do you want to do that? Sometimes you think it's gonna be fun, and that's okay to have fun. It's an objective too. For example, I started one podcast just because it's fun and it appeared a very nice thing. Sometimes this is what drives us, and it's very reasonable objective as well. But what is your objective? You want to share some campaign, you want to involve and engage people. What do you want to be? Who is your target audience? With live events, it's a bit easier because your target audience is already in a way created. You're trying to reach more, but for example, for committees meetings, my target audience is committee members. With the congresses, my target audience is centers, right? At least 2 representatives from each center, and that's it. When I'm going online and I am having public portion, my target audience changes a lot. Platform. This is that was very important experience as is shared at the very beginning, right? Because the platform can be not reasonable for this region. That was very funny experience with one of what is even more funny, digital team. There were developers who were saying, we created such a great free of charge webinar with a lot of practical tools, and we shared it on Facebook. Nobody from China assigned. I was like, really? Nobody from China? Do they ever have an access to Facebook or any, Google materials? I remember my team, when I was working earlier for UNESCO, I remember Pavel was part of that team, who were really trolling me when I was on my work trip in China. I was asking, guys, where are your reports? And they were like, on a Google Docs, because I can't reach Google Docs from China. And this is a very essential thing, especially when we are going online, not only for our country or our region. Timing. Timing, this is our challenge of being time inclusive. That always huge discussion around what is the most inclusive time, especially for Congress, especially when you're going globally, right? Because if you are assigning, setting up event in the morning in London, who's gonna join? Asia or Latin America? What do you think? Just give your answer in the chat box. If it's 11 a.m. in London, And we are, let's say, translating it on Spanish, but excluding French. Is it right or bad choice? It's a bad choice because this time Latin America is sleeping. We need to focus then on MENA region and Asia, right? So it's Asia Pacific and MENA, and it's more essential to translate on French, right, than Spanish. If we are running Spanish speaking webinar, we definitely have to set it up later the day on Greenwich, like afternoon or late afternoon in London. Then plan and timeline. This is what we are creating as a team at the very beginning, what we are planning and the main stages. Yeah, when we delivering something and when event happening, and then all the other stages. Content. As you can see now, content is the main thing we are, let's say, selling through our events. There's such a lot going on online. Anytime you can click on a social media, like any online event now, right? And join anything you can wish. Literary readings, some webinars, trainings, anything. The only content can really bring you your audience. So this is why it's super important to give enough efforts to that. Key message or call to action. What is that thing you want people to leave your event with? Some knowledge, some, I don't know, toolkit, some action. You want them to donate, you want them to promote, you want them just to talk about you all the time and share how great, I don't know, literary reading or anything was. And capture mechanism. How are you going to put it all together and make it work? So before you will close your first planning meeting, you have to agree with your team on basic elements: day, time, platform, theme, type of the event. Type of the event is if it's going to be closed or open or hybrid, right? Something like that. Or with, for example, some additional actions like elections or whatever. Then what you need to do, expected results, what you want to achieve by that, budget, even if you think you have no budget, but if you have budget to pay for Zoom, no, okay, you have free platforms, no, then you can have, I don't know, Facebook rooms, you can have Clubhouse rooms, whatever, you can always find something, but your knowledge, your know-how and your team and your time is already a budget. Communication channels, how you going to communicate with your target audience and team roles and responsibilities. Who is doing what? I want you to remember this slide as it's like a basic checklist when you're planning anything, especially online. Here is what is your target audience. What is our target audience? This is a really, really good question because we are a writers organization, first of all. Most of our members are writers. I should say that this is a quite adult and mature occupation, profession, right? So the average age of our Congress participants is quite high. Why? First of all, those are people who are already presidents, so it means that they are established writers or campaigners or whatever. And also they are, you know, adult. Gender, you know that this is a very sensitive factor. We usually put in our attention on it. Yeah, and here can be some issues in terms of cultural difference, in terms of practices and everything. I would like to engage you just to learn a bit about and have this kind of use our gender balance checklist when you organize events. And you can ask me, but how can we control who will be the participants? That's not only about participants, that's about the stage. If you are given a stage to, it's really balanced, yeah. Then location, this is what we were talking about, right? So if your event is going to be local, regional, or global. Language, this is an important thing. Online, you have more challenges because language barriers became more complicated. Then education, occupation, social status, interests, for us, one of the most important values. As a membership organization, we need to know where to find people who are sharing our values on freedom of expression and our approach. Devices. how are we gonna learn and why do we need to know about what devices our target audience will use? This is because in digital format, you need to adjust your content to the device. Pavel will tell more about that in a while, but when you are planning, for example, when we were preparing the last year Congress, I do hope that you liked the visuals, yeah? And when we created this black and white letters, Romana was the first saying like, really? Do you think it's user-friendly to read like that? You're like, yeah, you're right. You need to understand that a lot of people will join from their mobile phones. The letters could be too small, right? Or using tablets or something like that. Or when we are creating elections, for example. Then communication channels and expected actions. Here is one tip. You never can cover everything. Choose 3 main criteria. When you are assigning your target audience, choose 3 main, and then you can find a way how to reach them. What are the main challenges of online events? I want you to use chat box now and put there, what do you think is the most complicated thing when you are organizing an online event? And we will absolutely use it. While you're thinking and putting your ideas, I will come through some good points here. First, it's limitation of the format. There are some absolutely amazing platforms which creates the, the atmosphere of networking. Like, for example, on Hopin, they have those nice networking rooms when you're matched randomly for 3 minutes with any participants, and you can bump into somebody, yeah, and chat. For example, on last year online Frankfurt Book Fair, I bumped the director and talked to him, and it would be very challenging to do in a real life, right? But digital format allowed me to do that. But still, we need to understand all the limitations. Yeah, we have less flexibility. We have a number of other challenges. Screen fatigue. I don't know how you, but I hate screens already. On Sunday, I had 6 screens, just Sunday and Saturday when we were running Women Writers Committee. And everything is going on screens, your work, your free time, communication with your family, everything. So people are just tired of that. You need to present them something really valuable for them to follow the screen, yeah? For them not to disappear. And it's very easy to, it's quite difficult to step out from the live event, yeah? And you can't just, okay, I have tickets, but I'm not going. Yeah, there are less chances for you to do that. But even when you're opening the link and you're like, no, I don't want that. I'm full of that. So you definitely need to find a way how to keep people attention. Linguistic barriers and translation issues. This is something what I already mentioned, right? So this is the thing that we not really, and we don't sometimes really understand how much body language means. So when you can see, for example, English is my, 4 or 5 language. So when I'll switch off my screen and you will not see my articulation, it would be more difficult for you to understand me. So for all the people, it works the same. Yeah. Then next, multiple time zones. This is what we just discussed, right? You need to find, and there's no way that everybody gonna be happy. Never. So this is why you need to take a decision. If you are working for this region, for that, and what is your main focus? Team connectivity. Can you imagine the situation when your keynote speaker just disappear from the stage? Definitely not in the live event, right? But it's so easy when you have digital one. How you can face it? Always have plan B. Always have recordings, pre-recordings, and how you can replace some item and everything. Digital way, everything can change very quickly. You can disappear as organizer. What you should do then, you have to have at least 3 another hosts. Team capacity. We always want to do everything. We want to do mostly more than we are able to. So just be assertive enough, again, in front of yourself too. Cut not necessary things. It's better to do less, but do right way. Low level of technical knowledge for some counterparts. This is a real challenge because you can't really project based on your own knowledge. Some people can be absolutely fresh for using some platforms and everything. This is why if you can not complicate things, just go the most simple way ever. Poor technical equipment. During last year Congress, my poor computer battery exploded during one of the panels. If even you are a super multitasking person and you can manage a lot of things in parallel, remember that your equipment is not like that. And just be aware of, share a lot of different devices, switch it off and just take care of this thing. Pre-produced materials. Also, we want to do everything at once. Sometimes it's not possible. Just understand that for pre-produced materials, it takes more time than ever expected. No last minute changes. This is a nightmare for any organizer, but here is a tip, follow the script rule. And on digital format, it's even more important than in any other kind of event. If you have a script with clear cues, what is happening one by other, you should follow it strictly. Then regional limitation on internet broadband connectivity and even, an access, let's say, to some goods and costs too. For example, when we are creating our Congress, we are also thinking how to be inclusive to those countries which have no possibility to show all the beautiful videos. We need to add this in text, in scripts, right? And do the website the most inclusive, not too heavy, for example, not to spend too much of digital capacity. And online security. This is exclusively important thing. Online, everything is monitored. Everything is recorded. You can do nothing, just ask people not to record and not to share and trust them. But you can always just take your smartphone and re-record, right? And you can share. So this is a thing you can't really fight. So this is when you are creating any content, you should be aware of that. You have to remind people, but also to understand that everything is recorded once you are digital. And the last but not least thing is evaluation and feedback. That's not even if it's the first, it's definitely not the last digital event you are running or preparing. Please monitor your achievements, monitor your challenges. Even if it's like, oh, participants couldn't find the link. This is an important thing to monitor, to write down, and to avoid preparing the next one. Here is important things to analyze. For example, there are some examples from our last Congress. Languages, gender, I don't know how much persons, for example, didn't vote on the elections because of technical issues, or just they didn't understood the process. Those are also very important things to monitor, analyze, and to improve what you are going to do next. And one of the part of this evaluation and feedback is communication and communication with fundraising element. This is why I'm giving the stage to Portia, my great colleague, to represent a few messages about how fundraising elements have to be included into the digital format. Portia, please.
Hi, thanks, Olha. Hi, I'm Portia, and I work within the event and fundraising teams at Penn's Secretariat. And today I'm just going to briefly talk about the fundraising aspect of virtual events. Virtual events offer fantastic opportunities to raise funds for our community to make real life-changing impact in a simple way. No matter the event, whether it's a centers meeting, a committee meeting, poetry reading, musical performance, anything, it's effective to integrate a clear fundraising message, including a kind request, a method of giving, and a big thank you into all of your communications. Only with donations from our supporters are we at Penn able to defend freedom of expression, protect writers at risk, defend linguistic rights, and promote literature all across the world. Penn Secretariat uses our donations to promote cultural understanding, to enable the work of our amazing committees, to fight for persecuted writers, and to support our civil society program by funding the vital work that all of you do at our Penn centres. So please do remember the importance of fundraising and make sure to share where the money is spent for the best outcomes possible by using the information, for example, from our section on the Penn website, which is called our impact section, and that will detail all of the great impact we've made that you can share. And now to the next slide, please. Great. You can include a fundraising message in really any way that you communicate, through word of mouth, through email, social media, a printed or digital event flyer, such as this one pictured. And the message can be as simple as the one that's on screen saying, as we're not charging a fee to attend this event, we'd really appreciate any kind donation you'd be happy and able to give instead here. And that's where you can link everyone to Penn's donate website page. All donations will help to promote literature and support writers at risk globally, so thank you. The top tip for this aspect is that if you're able and if it's relevant, we'd really encourage translating the message into the 3 core Penn languages, English, French, and Spanish, just to make it as inclusive and accessible as possible. A call for donations spoken from the heart of one of the event speakers can be incredibly powerful. It only needs to take about 30 seconds at the start of the event. It can be repeated before a comfort break, as well as at the end of the event as well, when you can share a screen with a fundraising message on. These moments can leave a lasting impact on your guests and also help provide funding to protect human rights worldwide. So when sharing your fundraising message, remind everyone of how their donations can change lives for the better. You can do this by welcoming writers who've benefited from Penn's work to speak at the event. You can mention a Penn case who's recently been helped thanks to our support, or you can present in the Penn tradition an empty chair, for example. Making a verbal call for donations before any comfort break during your event gives guests really good amount of time to reflect on the message that's shared and to donate. And they can either do this using a QR code on screen or a link to our donate page, as I mentioned, that you can just put in the chat function. And we wouldn't be able to do what we do without our donors, who are incredibly generous. So please use the event and all your communications in the lead up and afterwards to thank them, making them visible if it's appropriate. Transparency is very key. People are much more willing to donate if they know how their money is spent. So please make sure to report to your donors, providing them with updates of where their donations are making the best impact possible. Catering to all your donors' needs shows that you respect their time and their support. So remember to give them what they are or aren't asking for. Promoting your event partners or sponsors through product placement, through incorporating their logos, or offering them the opportunity to speak at your event where it's relevant can be a really great way to say thank you. So thanks for listening. And if you have any questions on anything I've mentioned, then I'm here and happy to help later on.
Thank you very much, Portia. And now we are coming to the third and probably a bit most challenging part. This is a technical requirements. No worry, we will share all those materials with you. And also, this is why it's very important to have your feedback and questions in the chat. We will share with you kind of manual afterwards, a few weeks after event, with all those details you want to know and learn. So please give us your questions too. Pavlo, stage yours.
Thanks, Oha. Hello, everyone. My name is Pavlo, and I'm a data officer at Penn International Office. I'll have a few words on technical requirements, as you see, for hosting a successful online event. Yeah, you should obviously start with devices in order to be able to run an online event. First of all, displays. It may be a laptop, desk monitor, television screen. Secondly, built-in or USB microphones and web cameras. Third is speakers, built-in computer speaker or external one, or a set of earphones if you prefer to use those. Fourth, and probably the most important, is internet connection. And fifth, video conferencing software tools, or apps, installed ones or browser-based, about which we'll talk later on. Tip here is, in order to be sure that your PC or laptop hardware is efficient enough, download and install the software you want to use and just test it with your colleagues. The second slide, thanks. Yeah, it is important to be sure that your internet speed is enough for hosting an online event. As you see, minimum required speed to host an event on Zoom is at least 10 megabits per second. Recommended speed is, though, from 25 to 50. To stream a video, minimum is 3 megabits. To stream a high quality 4K video is at least 25 megabits. How can you check your internet speed? I will insert the link that you see on the slide into our chat box, and you may go there and check it. You will simply see the number appearing on your screen, or you can use any other platform, online platform, for checking the internet speed. Second slide, please. Next one. Yeah, thank you. Nowadays, the market provides a ton of platforms fitting perfectly for the webinar hosting. Some of them you may see here: Zoom, Hopin, Livestorm, Demio, and many others to the right. Choose a webinar platform that will give you the broadest reach across all devices. As you see, tip here is think mobile first. So make sure it is possible to attend your event not only with a computer, but also with a smartphone or a tablet, as Olha mentioned before. And here I'm also adding a link where you can read more about best webinar software. All this information will obviously be included into our guideline as well, so don't worry. Next slide, please. Some of platforms have free plans, but usually features of those are not enough for hosting a long-lasting online event for numerous attendees. So you might need to get a purchased plan. As you see on example with Zoom on top, free plan limits the time of one continuous online call to 40 minutes, which obviously not enough for hosting an event. Although the number of possible attendees is quite great, it's up to 100 participants. When a purchase plan, on the other hand, which costs $150 per year right now, allows you to host long-lasting events up to 30 hours. Higher price plans also increase the number of attendees. They are not included here, but higher price is for 300, increases a number of participants to 300 and then to 500 participants. Tip here is that some platforms provide free trials for about 14 days. It allows you to test the platforms and to choose the one that fits the best before purchasing it. So try trials. Additional services. You also might need to use additional services in order to host an event with some special needs. They can help you to schedule an event, as Doodle, for example, or to collect information or data about the attendees, age, gender balance, interests, origins, if needed, for event report or for event preparations. For this, you can also use Doodle or Google Forms. They can also help you to support surveys and manage registration. Streaming is an extremely important tool if you want your event to be external, to attract more attendees as observers, not only event panelists, speakers, or performers. Webinar type of Zoom, for example, allows you to broadcast your event to your YouTube account or Facebook page. But obviously you need to have this accounts and pages before the event in order to be able to broadcast. So checklist. Recording. Majority of the platforms provide a recording tool or use one more tool, software for that. It may be basic Windows screen recorder tool. When you press Windows key plus Alt plus R on your PC, your event running will start recording. Tip here is the lesser is number of software you use simultaneously, the easier it is to track and control all the processes during your online event. So try to use less. Elections. The best free of charge browser-based platform for that is Polis. You simply schedule the election, set up the candidatures, time of the elections, and list of the voters' emails. They will get a link and will be able to vote once and anonymously. For simpler versions of the elections, when, for example, anonymity is not needed, you may use mentioned before Doodle or Google Forms. And translating. For this, you can use either pre-recorded video content in multiple languages or with subtitles, or you can invite a voice interpreter, but it will extend, obviously, time of the event. Or the one who's going to translate by texting into the chat bar. We had some experience with this as well. Or you can use additional tools for automatic voice translation of the events. Please. Yeah, and tip here, one more tip here is always watch platform manuals. Very useful. That's how we taught ourselves as well. And the last slide on my side is a few words why visuals are so important. Such screensavers as 1 minute left can help limit a speaker time without interrupting them or directly muting them during their speech. Or the screensaver comfort break is useful for both the attendees which are staying at the event all the time and for those who have just entered an event and who is trying to understand what's happening. No one's talking. Visuals can be useful also for sharing links generated into QR codes. It's important in this case that the QR code is big enough for the cameras to recognize the picture. And tip here, you can use Google Slides to create simple screensavers, then save them as JPEG picture file, and then share when you need them. Thank you. That's it for on my side. If you have any questions concerning what I just said, you can ask, obviously. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pavlo. Thank you. And now we are coming to the thing we want you to start using today, if you're not yet. Sabrina, please come back and represent us why branding is a queen of digital world and why we can't avoid this part.
Hello, everyone. Again, it's wonderful to be with you. So I'll take you today through the importance of branding, and that's all I say why we cannot do without that. So why branding is important? Branding is what makes us memorable. It's what distinguishes us from others. It's what makes us recognizable. Branding is our public face among other faces. So why have we produced this branding guideline for the Centenary? The guidelines have been produced to shape all Centenary communications, campaigns, output, events, and activities, and to ensure consistency across all application of the Centenary identity. It is very important that all material relating to a Centenary event, campaign, or activity meet these branding guidelines. So what is our branding made of? The branding is made of our logo, of a banner, slogan, and social media present, particularly a hashtag. Can we show the logo? Wonderful, thank you so much. Okay, so PEN's Centenary logo is the core of our PEN's identity. It's what people will recognize PEN for. It is important because it helps in familiarizing PEN's image among the public, and this will lead to increased trust and to boost in members and donors acquisition. So PEN Centenary logo is to be used across all PEN's related activities, from activities, merchandise, events, and materials produced throughout 2021 and until September 22. The PEN's official logo is made, as you can see, of the word PEN International, the number 100, plus the dates in 1921 and 2021. So we have produced logos in red and white and black and white. So why are we also giving the option to use a monochrome or black and white logo? It is because at times using a monochrome logo can be more affordable and monochrome logos can also be more versatile. So at times they're easier to be used, for instance, for embroidery or printing, engravings and so on. So you will choose the one which works best for your specific body of work. So the logo must appear at the top of all Centenary related digital products when in co-production with Penn International. Please note something very important: no changes can be made to the logo. And the logo needs to be used exactly as we are sharing it in the guidelines. Now, we also have a secondary logo, which is exactly as the one we just discussed. Yes, is the one on the right. So it's the same, but without the word international. So the secondary logo is an option which is given to centers, and it is to be used. It can be used by center when working. Basically, it's when working by themselves or when working with other centers. But please make sure that when there is a body of work which is done in cooperation with the International Secretariat, please use the primary one, which is the logo with the word international. So just to summarize, the logo can be used, for instance, in letterhead papers. It can be used on top of Penn's digital products, letter statements, submissions, videos, graphics. It can be used on the website, on Penn's website, on Penn's social media presence, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and it can be used on merchandise materials, for instance, pens, t-shirts, rolled banners, business cards, and so on. Now, the banner. So the banner must not be mistaken with the logo. So the logo is our primary identity. The banner can be used in addition to the logo, and it should never replace the logo. So the banner can be used in action pages, in statements, in newsletters, in toolkits, PowerPoint presentation, petition, merchandise, and so on. So again, as for the logo, the banner must not be changed. However, there are some exceptions here. So it is possible to translate the slogan, 100 years of celebrating literally protecting freedom of expression. So this particular bit is actually editable, so that if Penn Centers wishes, they can translate the slogan into their own language. And the same is for the globe. Made of alphabets and letters, so that can also be amended. If, for instance, centers wish to add, I don't know, the face of an imprisoned writer, that, you know, it can be done. And underneath the globe, there is also an editable bit which allows centers and us to add a hashtag. So yes, please make sure that remember that these are the only changes allowed. And for submission of edited banners proof for review and approval, please contact me, and please allow a minimum of 5 working days when doing so. Lastly, we have two other small elements which are equally important within the framework of the branding guidelines. So the slogan, as I say, the slogan is 100 years celebrating literally protecting freedom of expression. Please note that this slogan cannot be changed. However, we can translate it in different languages. And then social media. Whenever possible, please ensure that your social media messages refer to our centenary. And when doing so, please use the hashtag Penn Centenary or 100 years of Penn or 121 Penn 2021. Thank you. If you have any questions, email me, contact me at any time. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. And I wanted to flag that all of you received the guide. Yes, we have it translated also in French and Spanish. We also have it in Arabic in case if somebody needs. That's a big improvement. And also you received the document from Sabrina, key dates, right? So you can also have an idea what's going to happen. And also it helps with the planning when you want to organize some panel or your center event, you can literally adjust it to the global movement and key dates for it. And now we will have small, training. We're gonna break up you for 3 different rooms. Nowhere, so we will help you. And based on the new knowledge you just received, we want you to have 10 minutes to prepare very, very simple brief for your event. We will work on the 3 different levels. One team will work on a local level, the second one on a regional, and third on a global. They're going to be surprised. We will help you in each room. So Maria will split us to the rooms now. There you will meet one of us and we will guide you with the thing. The only thing, just please follow the chat box because there will be a link for the document to keep open, okay? Afterwards, the one person from each team will represent your results. Now we will be disappearing from here and appearing in our rooms. So how are we gonna do it now? Thank you so much for this exercise. That was incredible time pressure, and this gives you an insight how it usually works with online events. You can and want to discuss, topics and everything, but still you have very limited time and you have all the, key elements to be fulfilled. Now we will have 3 minutes for each team. Each supportive person will share the document. We'll start from team 2 as we finished first. Yes, I'm sharing our document, and Daphne, please represent what we have decided during those short 15 minutes.
Right. Thank you. So for group 2, our campaign was a regional workshop on hate speech, and we're focusing on hate speech towards elections. So the dates would be 2 months before the elections for Africa. Why? It's because it's usually tense for us to have this conversation towards the elections, because the state usually starts limiting the number of people that are having discussions publicly. So 2 months before the event is okay. And it's also, there's time for people to stop spreading hate messages before the election. And then the time is a Friday evening. Everyone is not working, looking forward to the weekend. So they may be available to meet the time and contribute to the discussion. Theme: targeted hate speech as elections, as an election process too. So here we're looking at how generally politicians or just different groups looks at targeting people who are anti their ideologies, anti their values through hate speech, be it people, their opponents, or people with a different mindset in terms of maybe how they want to protect human rights, how they want to express their rights, how they differ in terms of certain laws within the country. So that's what we're targeting. And we know that this type of communication increases towards elections. The type of event that we're having is a public discussion, is a virtual a discussion. The objective is to give people a better understanding of the election processes and manipulations that come through the process. So to look out for that and not then end up falling into the trap of spreading hate speech or alienating other members that are also equally allowed to express their political views. So I'm looking at the main conferencing platform is Zoom. Then we live stream on YouTube and Facebook, and also on Twitter and Instagram. Why we're also promoting through these social media platforms. Why we are doing so is because we are trying to reach a wider audience, and we're trying to ensure that everyone has access to the information, and it's also kept for people to look at that information even after the event. So some people can't access Zoom, some people can't access Twitter or Instagram and Facebook. generally is the easiest platform for Africa, but for other people, they also prefer other platforms. So we're trying to maximize on the different platforms that are available. So we are also promoting the event through those different platforms. Registration, yes, to keep the contact list and also to stream openly. So we would also want to continue sharing the messages, promotional messages afterwards with people who attend the discussion, which is why they would be need for registration. Additional technical tools required, communication channels, Twitter and Facebook. The fundraising message is the usual donation call, asking people to make a donation towards the work that we are already doing to end towards the End Hate or Stop Hate campaign. Even after the elections, we continue to do that work. So anyone is free to donate whatever they want to contribute towards the cause. So some of the proposed strapline taglines: vote, not hate; think, not hate. So because people are going towards elections, in terms of whilst they are thinking about voting, they need to think about what they want and what the candidates provide, not to be informed by their hate towards a certain group, so that you then go and vote against a certain person or a certain group or a certain party. So you need to think and then just vote and not hate. And it may also end up resulting in other people stopping other people from participating in the election. So that's why we are using those elections. The call to action is to vote consciously, which is basically explained by what I've just previously explained. So yeah, I think that's it about the brief about our event. Anyone from group 2 who might want to add anything I might have missed?
Thank you very much. That was a great presentation, and the group really worked well. Okay, so we can move to the next one. Yes, please, group 1, Portia.
Hi, so Alicia is going to be talking through our everything that we discussed. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Let me just. There we go. Alicia, I think you might have to unmute.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Good day once more. Our project is on the global campaign for the Day of the Imprisoned Writer. And we've decided to have it on the 15th of November. The reason being that's the specific date when these imprisoned writers are remembered. So we said it would be ideal to have it on that particular day. And on the time, we decided on 1 p.m. Because that's the most convenient time for all the regions across the globe. Right, then our theme there, we decided to call it Confined but Not Silenced, because we're looking at the imprisoned writers there, and they've been confined, but one thing for sure is they're not silenced. Then as a sub-theme, we decided to call it Standing in Solidarity with Our Literary Heroes. Then the event will be apparently a public or open event. Anyone is free to participate and join. Then the objective is to raise awareness, educate the public, show solidarity, raise donations, then sign a petition. We decided that we could actually invite people to sign a petition to show their solidarity to the message that is being sent to the world. Then our targeted audience there, we're looking at students and anyone who is in the literary industry. We're looking at journalists, publishers, poets, and the political figures also. They should also be included, because in most cases, these are the people whose people to be confined to that extent. Then the conferencing there, we decided we could use the Zoom and the other social medias like your Facebook, your YouTube. But apparently the hosting would be on Zoom. And other platforms, we're looking at Facebook live streaming on Facebook. We could also have it on Twitter, YouTube. The reason why we chose some of these is with Zoom, somebody has to join in voluntarily, right? But at the same time, the message should be sent. People should, in some instances, get the message whether voluntarily or by accident. So if we extend the event to other social medias like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, some people will just bump into the message. So that's the reason why we've decided that we would include as much as possible of all the available social media platforms. Anyone can register. We share information, and anyone can register to the event. It did not think out required. We decided we could use a different digital platforms that are there, like SurveyMonkey, Google Doc, translation. Since this will be a global event, some of the things meant to be said. So we'll use all available services that are online that can be used to translate and pass on the message. Communication channels, like I've already said, we use all the available social media platforms, your Twitter, your Facebook, Instagram. Then we also thought it would be necessary to pass on the information through the word of mouth. Like for instance, we have a center here in Zimbabwe, we have a membership, right? If we pass on that the message to our membership, they can also pass it to other people. So having centers across the globe, a word of mouth can also be used as a campaign to spread the message, and to use things like your newsletters, your emails, like that. Then the fundraising message there is standing in solidarity with our literary heroes. Please donate today. That's our campaign message there. Yeah, I'm sure we didn't go as far as to the budgets there. This is what we've been able to do.
Thanks so much for sharing. That was great.
Thank you. And team 3?
Yeah, team 3. Please, who's we haven't decided yet who's gonna present. Aziz, are you okay with presenting? Yeah, I will share screen.
Okay, yeah, I just got your message. Thank you for nominating me. Yes, very interesting discussion we have. Lots of practical issues about possible way to arrange, and also how do we prepare the event. Some of our colleagues said we can use for small group of PEN members, we can meet use WhatsApp or like old app Skype. And we also thought about if you organize a global level, we have to be remember about time differences, and also the preparation, like how early we can prepare, and availability, and the various issues, and like about fundraising as well, and PEN centers election, and many how do you choose the communication app, webinar app. Many app has like a time limitation, and Paulo recommended us the police for election, for example, which is free. and we learned yes, many different our colleagues give different idea from different like from Africa, from East Europe, Bosnia, Penn Center. So we shared a lot of useful information together. I'll stop now. If you want to add,
yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you so much. Pablo, please stop sharing. That was a small exercise just to see how does it work in practice. When you have very basic checklist, what's supposed to be fulfilled, and you can see now how it works with limited communication when we all working only online, how it works under the time pressure, how it works with linguistic barriers sometimes, and how difficult it is to reach especially global reaches, but still possible. And this is what we are engaging you to do. Just where the really small teams created very last moment, you were a team able to deliver something, at least small plan in 15 minutes. It shows you that, you know, how Jay-Z says, it takes a second to reach impossible, to reach difficult, right? It will take a week to reach impossible. So you have a week to reach impossible. Just joking here. We are opening our short Q&A session. If you have any ideas to share, any questions, and I will share on the screen 3 questions, which are really very important for us, for you to reply, because it will help us to improve our communication, also to prepare the guidance for you, and to share our knowledge we are willing to share, of course. Where are our questions? If somebody has some question to ask now, please do now or never, as usually. Here we are. Which parts or topics were most useful for your work? Which of the topics would require more time and attention from your perspective? Like, for example, you would like to learn more about branding or about the organizational thing or about visuals, anything, or fundraising. And third, what information would you like to receive in written guidance? We always very careful to adjust our content to our target audience. So we want those documents to become real tool for you to support your work. Please give us put your answers to the chat box. And if somebody have any question, you are welcome. We have literally a few minutes before we will close our webinar.
Olha, you
yes.
start sharing the presentation with the questions. We're seeing the TikTok. It's all right.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Stop share. And I'm sharing. Look, I'm just presenting you what are the typical mistakes you can do. Share run document.
Do everyone know how to share their answers in the chat box? Just because I see people haven't started yet.
Mm-hmm. If you have any question or comment, please unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, I can ask you a question. Like, many disadvantaged pen centers like Uyghur Pen Center, Afghan Pen Center need to be like we are not speaking any of the international language in the main core language like French, English, not at all. And our culturally, linguistically, we have if we organize events, we have to speak in our mother tongue, and this is like for Pen Centenary, Centenary, right? And this is it's a huge task we have to because in order to show our activities you have to be like English or French or main core languages. So how can we solve this this difficult, very difficult I found about this language because we tried many contents in our own language for example, and you know this is like that's why we kind of cannot see like significant digitally in the like French or English pen centers like Western like German pen for example. Any advice you would give us?
Yeah, you know, I totally feel for you because I'm Ukrainian and originally Pan Ukraine are holding our events in Ukrainian, first of all, but also to be visible globally and to be promoted and to give more tools to advocate for you. You should go sadly, but for all those international languages. What can we do? You know that last years, especially UNESCO has a focus on indigenous languages and support of, let's say, minor languages. So first of all, those are looking for grants for translation and for support. Second is educating your own members and support them, you know, to be more visible in the other linguistic traditions. There are a number. I know that UNESCO literally 2 weeks ago opened the call for support events on indigenous languages. By the way, deadline in April, so search it. So this is one of the, this is a very dialectical process. At the one hand, you need to promote your own language and literature. But for example, in terms of giving updates, it would be nice when you have some event and have just post-release on English to share with us, to share through center updates, something like that. Then people, for example, journalists, when they are preparing any materials on Uyghur cases, they can see that something is going on. When they can see it at least somewhere, they can, you know, go deeper. So it's really our shared responsibility to make it more visible. And the other way is also to educate our members to be able to join more. I understand that this is a big challenge for us. This is why for a lot of committees, we can see the same faces just because members are not able, or feel uncomfortable to join. So this is what I can say. It's out of my remit, obviously, but as a person who is working in a global context, I would say that there are only mostly those two ways. But I would be happy if any of centers would share their experience of solving this challenge too. Thank you, Aziz. That's an important question.
Thank you, Olha. Very useful.
Okay, how is it going with the chat? I'm just scared to click anything, not to.
We find people still writing. Let's give them a little bit of time, I think, to
Okay. Okay, great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so if you feel that you have no answers for all the 3 questions, you can just share, you know, your feedback. Like, for example, I really enjoyed this part and that part. I had no idea what you were talking about. Or I don't know, like, I would love to learn more about particular areas. We will reserve. Yes.
Could you bring the screen for the questions again? I want to check on the last question. The screen with the questions.
Yeah, she's sharing them. Can
you can see on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna. I can write it on the chat. Is the third?
Oh yeah, it would be also helpful. Thank you, Maria.
So this is the third one that I'm writing.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Something happening?
Yes, yes, things keep on coming. I mean,
Okay.
happy to give them as many time as they need because this feedback is very useful.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
You made amazingly in being in time, so we're only 4 minutes over the 2 hours.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very important to keep timing, especially online. You know, I'm writing while you are giving us your feedback. I can share that now I'm writing as an academic researcher. I'm writing an article about this attractiveness and stickiness on visuals, and I'm working with Netflix data now. That's so exciting experience that how they are choosing this, you know, stickiness, how to keep people attention. And it's so essential, especially those, you know, first 7 seconds streak, right? Teasers, how you promote things, the order of things, how long you can keep people attention, because sometimes you can be just too good in keeping attention, and it means that you will have worse final result because people will be too tired to keep for longer, you know. So you need to find this balance. There's such a lot of really engaging data, and you remember in old times we had this surveys with a TV, right? When they were monitoring how you were changing the channels and everything. Now it's so improved because it's monitoring your eyeballs, literally. So they know when you are looking at screen or when you're just doing something in parallel, you know, as a background. And this is a huge challenge for us and for digital events too. Because you need to know how to keep people attention, but not push them too much. That's also very important, because otherwise, after 1 or 2 hours, very intensive work, people are just done. They don't want, they can't. Yeah, it's definitely too much.
Yeah. I think it was a good balance for this one, definitely. So we received already a lot of answers. Patricia? Okay, no, nothing. It's fine. She sent it to me privately, but.
Okay. So we presume that you will download all the things and then share with us as a team.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we can discuss.
The chat can be downloaded. And anyway, the message that Patricia sent me privately is because she couldn't join the lesson. So, but anyway, when I send the recording for those who couldn't see couldn't attend the webinar, you will be able to see it, and also I'll send you the answers for you to.
Yeah. So what we are going to do is at the first stage, we will share with you those materials presented today, and also resend the materials by Sabrina. Please use the guidance please refer to the key dates. And at the next stage, in a couple of weeks, when we'll rework your feedback, we will share one more written guidance how to run digital events and what can help you.
Great, thank you.
This is why now you are literally creating the content. You're requesting what's supposed to be there.
Olha, I think you can stop sharing the screen so that who has already finished can actually.
I can't because I have one more slide.
Ah, sorry.
I'm joking, yeah.
So
please follow our events page on a PEN International website and obviously our Facebook page and social media. It depends on the region. So Facebook, Twitter, website, and obviously central mailing. All the official correspondence comes through central mailing. This is why I want to remind you that Pavlo keeps sharing requests for updated database. Please, if you haven't done it yet, contact Pavlo immediately, because we need to have, first of all, your updated contacts and also your GDPR compliance, that you are okay to be added to the contact list. You want to receive all the updates, newsletters, central mailings, and everything like that. Otherwise, we have to exclude you from that, and we don't want. Okay, I want to thank to my team, first of all. This is where you really feel comfortable, and you know, I could sleep longer today because I knew Portia gonna check those links. Yes, so it's really important, and it's really important to gather feedback, to have analyze on that, and have an idea what do you want, how you want to develop. So you can't be one team player. Yeah, you can only be a teammate, especially when we are going digitally. And Centenary program. Next, we just had a Women Writers Committee meeting the last weekend. Next one about digital dystopia. I'm telling you the secret already before we announced it. We will have the next committee meeting, Writers in Prison Committee, with the ICORN together in May. So please update your data and then you will receive all the announcements and central mailing about that.